edition of PC Voyage. I'm Andrew Doty.
And I'm Rainey Laviolette.
On tonight's episode...
Can you stop tweeting? I don't like episode.
We actually have some extra footage from our visit with Russ Walter, author of The Secret Guide to Computers, so we're going to have a second showing of that little interview. Also up will be Keith with Bits and PCs, and Bob Clements with the PC Voyage News.
We'll be right back after Chip brings us the trivia question.
Here are this week's computer trivia questions. Number 1. How many values can 8 bits and 16 bits represent? And number 2. What single file can display menus and run all the software on your computer?
As Andy mentioned earlier, we had some extra footage from our trip out to visit Russ Walter, author of The Secret Guide to Computers. And we hope everybody was intrigued by the first part of this, so we figured we'd bring you more. Exciting or what?
I think so. Here's Russ.
We're talking about the follow-up, the next generation of DOS. As far as OS2 or NT, or even still continuing to use DOS in the future. Where do you think things are going? And will necessarily be for the better?
Well, I think OS2 won't make any difference. It's a flash in the pan that I think is sort of like a burnt egg. I think it's not working. As far as Windows NT, I don't know about it. I don't care about it because I can't buy it yet anyway. I hate talking about the future. I do have to say, this whole thing reminds me of a comment that Pete Peterson made. Pete Peterson was one of the heads of WordPerfect Corporation. And I was sitting with him in a car once, and he was telling me his view of the different companies in the computer industry. And he says if these folks, if all these different companies were writing fiction, what kind of fiction would each company write? And for Borland, it would be comic books, because it's always little cheery weirdo stuff. For Lotus, it would be an historical romance, because at that point, their advertising that year was, why should you buy 1, 2, 3? Loyalty, trust. Basically only an old fart would buy Lotus 1, 2, 3.
Or a car dealer.
Right. And then Ashton Tate at that time, which was separate from Borland, was strictly business, because the head of Ashton Tate was Ed Esber, and he said probably Ed never even played with a computer much, which is pretty much true. Getting back to the point, for Microsoft, which is responsible for a lot of these products, he said science fiction. Definitely science fiction stuff, Fantasyland. Oh, Windows, OS2, NT, Your machine can't run it now, but someday. And it's really interesting watching this stuff, because Microsoft in their advertising never claimed that NT was supposed to run on a normal machine. They're supposed to be for the really high end. But they're so late in coming out with a product, by the time it does come out, people will have those machines anyway, so it won't be high end. So maybe it'll actually fly. NT, my understanding, is what OS3 would be if there were such a thing. So OS2 is going to be a really sort of dead-end thing. And aside from William Zachman, who keeps writing over and over again in PC Magazine that he thinks OS2 is great, and finally people started saying, will you shut up about that? I've heard enough about your column. So aside from him, I don't know of anybody else who's an OS2 fan.
I know quite a few. I know quite a few. What about Unix? Will Unix play any picture in this? Or?
Well, everything that everybody says was great about Unix was eventually incorporated sooner or later into the PC DOS world. The first thing that people were enthusiastic about was this idea of pipes and filters, and that became part of DOS. And I just can't think of any reason to go to Unix. I'm sure that the Unix folks have good reasons. But the main argument just seems to be there's a lot of proprietary software that runs specific programs that run only under Unix that are multi-user things. But I just feel sorry for people that buy Unix, because then they can't use all the programs that I recommend. They set up their whole machine for Unix, and they can't use WordPerfect, at least not the new version. The Unix people will tell you, well, everything's available for Unix, but it's always the old version, like the newest and best WordPerfect and the best of this and the best of that are only available under DOS. So you're sort of locked into some you know, if you're buying a program to run your hair salon, if it only runs under Unix, then you buy Unix. But then you're going to be somewhat locked out of running DOS stuff, at least efficiently.
Now, you mentioned recommendations. In the secret guide, you give a lot of recommendations of different pieces of software to use and different computers to purchase and the whole bit. What do you recommend to somebody going out right now and buying a new computer that may not have one or is thinking about upgrading one?
Well, this week I recommend ExpoTech.
Is this one of those things that we got to kind of keep our watch on to see if it's going to change?
Yes, my advice really does change every week on this matter, sometimes every day, because what happens in the whole industry is some company will come in with a low price, and one of my readers will say, Russ, I saw this ad. This looks like a good deal. Should I buy it? And I say, gee, you're right. The ad does look good, but I don't know anything about him. You can't trust him yet. You be the guinea pig. Go buy it. And then the person will say, hey, I bought it. The thing actually works. It arrived quickly. No problems. In the case of ExpoTech, that's the latest story. Somebody brought the ad to my attention. I said, I don't know. It does look interesting. And he bought it. A lot of other people, and then I started telling other people, hey, you know, this guy had good luck. You want to go try it? Go ahead. You can be guinea pig number 2. Eventually, ExpoTech called me and said, what the hell are you sending all these people to us for, and who the hell are you? So I told them. And then they sent me, the saleswoman there, Pamela Schoenhoven, sent me a lot of information about ExpoTech, technical and otherwise. And then the head of sales told me the whole history of the company, and then I started feeling more confident. So I said, hey, you know, this is not only got a good stuff, but it actually is a real company. They got some real people, and they're pretty honest. And the funny thing about this company is the only negatives I heard I found from the sales manager. He told me everything that was wrong about the company when they started up. I thought that was really honest of him. So hey, these are good guys, you know. So that's what I'm recommending at the moment. Now, what will eventually happen is that when I start sending a lot of people to a company and the company starts becoming popular, not just from me but from other sources, as people start becoming aware of this company, then they won't feel the need so much to have this aggressive pricing. And at that point, my eyes start to wander elsewhere. Gee, maybe somebody else has a good deal. So then, in the case of ExpoTech, they have very aggressive pricing. But they haven't dropped their prices in the last month. So I noticed, hey, they're starting to get stable now. They think they've got the market sewn up for me. So now I have to start thinking about other alternatives because everybody else's keeps dropping gradually. In the case of ExpoTech, just to let you know who they are, ExpoTech is a new division of Videotech, which is a gigantic company that's been around for a long time. They make the Laser brand of computers. They make Leading Technology brand. They own Central Point Software. Oh, wow. They make cellular phones and electronic toys. As the sales manager says, and they're the best-selling toys in Toys R Us. They're based in Hong Kong, 5,000 employees. That's bigger than Gateway. And in any case, so their U.S. headquarters is in Illinois. That's where you're calling, but the computer shipped from Oregon, only $59 shipping and no tax. So, unless you're in Illinois. So anyway, but they have this incredible deal right now. For $13.99, you get a 46SX with a 240 meg drive. The ad says 210, but you really get 240. And you get Super VGA, non-interlaced, Mega Video RAM. I can go on and on and on, but it's a really fancy package. Lots of software, lots of hardware. They even throw a modem in. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's a good deal. This week.
What about, a lot of friends of mine are going out to the warehouses and buying the hot machine right now is the PS1, the IBM PS1, or you find the Packard Bells there. What do you think of those machines?
I just realized that PS also stands for poor sucker. Well, IBM traditionally has charged too much for their machines. Now, IBM recently has done some price cutting. In fact, last week they cut their prices again, apparently. So IBM is trying hard, and it's been funny to me to watch USA Flex, for example, selling IBM PC laptops made by IBM. So IBM is starting to go through a whole bunch of different channels. They're being more aggressive. So I guess I have to start taking them semi-seriously. But their prices at any given point will be high. I noticed, for example, that in Staples, which is a chain of office supply stores, that they were selling a PS1, but the catch was that it was a shitty monitor. It was a 0.41 millimeter dot pitch, so it was kind of fuzzy. In any case, you're always going to get a better deal from ExpoTech than you're going to get from IBM. So IBM appeals only to conservative people. And the problem with the PS1s in general is, I mean, I think it's a negative to have a machine by IBM because their machines are not as IBM compatible as all the other ones are, because everybody else is compatible with everybody else. And then you get IBM with their PS1s. You want to add a hard drive, you want to add anything else interesting to their, and you go to call up a company and say, you know, I'd like to buy a larger hard drive. What kind of machine do you have? A PS1. Oh, blah, 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 blah. We don't know much about PS1s. So, as I said, when the PS2 line and the PS1 lines came out, if anybody other than IBM had invented them, they'd be totally ignored because they're not compatible with the majority of the marketplace. So anyway, I give IBM credit for trying to turn around and trying to be more aggressive, and I'll see how things shake out. At the moment, you're still going to get better deals elsewhere, and I tend to recommend buying elsewhere. Except that I have pushed people toward the IBM laptops, which were being sold by USA Flex for $12.99. Those were not a bad deal.
What about buying a computer through, we're going to cause problems here with everybody, through like the home shopping channels?
My general advice when people call me up about home shopping channel is don't buy there. It's usually a ripoff relative to, well, for a couple of problems. First of all, support. If the thing breaks down, you're going to have trouble finding out who's responsible to fix it. They never have very good deals. Their deals are always maybe 20% higher than they should be for their price. So I just have learned to ignore that as a place to go.
What kind of software recommendations are you making this week?
This week? Pretty boring, actually. Pretty much what anybody else would say. For word processing, either WordPerfect 5.1 or AMI Pro. For desktop publishing, don't buy a desktop publishing program, buy AMI Pro, because AMI Pro is a word processing program that includes a lot of desktop publishing. For databases, I recommend Q&A. For spreadsheets, Excel if you're into luxury, or if the Cyrex deal of getting Quattro Pro 3 is still around, get that and save the money. Works is something worth looking at. It's not bad. So if you're really totally unsure, you can play with that. For graphics, I have to re-explore that angle. I happen to like a program called Deluxe Paint because it's very easy. Unfortunately, it does not run under Windows, and if you try rotating an object or making it larger or smaller, you start losing resolution. It's what you call a bitmapped rather than a vector thing. So it's easy, it's fun, but it won't draw as finely as some of the competing products. I have to re-explore the Windows market for graphics, which
We appreciate you letting us come into your home and talk about the secret guide to computers, and hopefully everybody will go out and buy one now. Yay. And be little mini Russ Walter all over the place.
Yay!
Hey, thanks a lot, Russ.
Well, I hope everybody got enough of Russ Walter because we have no more tape.
He's got plenty of books, though, so.
And he can talk quite a lot. One of the things with Russ that you've got to keep in mind, and we say this in the interview, is if you want to know which PC vendor he recommends, it's literally a this week decision. He can change his mind just like that based on hearsay or whatever and switch brands tomorrow. So whatever you read in the book or even what he says in the interview may not be true as of today. So give him a holler. He'll be more than happy to talk to you. In fact, he'll be more than happy to talk to anybody.
And here is our own little computer, Chip, with the trivia answer.
Here are this week's computer trivia answers. Number 1. 8 bits can represent 256 values. 16 bits can represent 65,536 values. And number 2. A single batch file can display menus and run all the software on your computer.
Each week, Keith seems to be bringing us another segment of his little piece of knowledge on computers. This week is no exception. Here's Keith Davis with Bits and Pieces with Mellow in his face.
Hi, I'm Keith Davis. On today's show, we're going to talk about the prompt command. And well, let's get rid of this stuff off the screen right here and go right over to the computer here. And the prompt command sets the command prompt, and as you can see right here, it's showing us that we are on the C drive and in the root directory. And the root directory is designated by the backslash. And it's very important to have a prompt command set so that you know where you're at any given time, which drive you're on and which directory you're in. And the way this gets set is in the auto exec file or at the command prompt, you enter a command that looks something like this. The prompt equals, and the equal sign is optional, $P, $G. And what that does is the $P gives us the path, which would be the drive in the directory, and the G is the greater than sign. And in this case, we also threw in a little dash, $G, and what that does is make it look like a little arrow there. That's, again, an optional thing. And if we take a look in the environment area, okay, and the environment area is a little area of DOS's memory where certain variables are stored. The prompt command and the path and some other things are stored in here. As you can see on here, the prompt command is a little bit different than we just did up here. And the reason is this sets some of the colors for us. But the $P, $G command is right in the center of it here, and it's the same as we did up here. What all this other stuff is, this is an escape sequence, and these numbers here, 37 and 44, give us a white on blue prompt, and 33 and 40 give us yellow on black text for the screen. And the $E bracket begins the escape sequence. The number 1 gives the colors, the bright color versus the dull colors. And if you want to jazz up your screen a little bit, you can put color numbers in. These are just a few of several colors you can use. But 37 and 44 are white over blue for the prompt. Here's our prompt itself, and 33 and 40 give us yellow over black. And for this to work, by the way, you also need ANSI.sys or similar in the config sys file. Now, one of the other things you can do with the prompt here, we can set what borders on a ridiculous prompt here. If we say prompt equals, and let's do a few different things. We'll go $D will show us the date right in the prompt, and we'll do $underline, that'll give us a carriage return. $T, $underline, will give us the time. $V gives us the version. And we can even throw a little line of text in here. This computer's driving me crazy. And we can say $underline, $P, $G. And of course, this is kind of ridiculous, but there's the prompt now. As you can see, we have every time we do a directory or hit the command key, we're going to get a prompt, whatever it was we typed in. So it'll give us the date and time. And usually people don't go so far as using all these things because you generally know what day it is once you've turned your computer on, and you always know what version of DOS you're using. And you can have any kind of text in there for your prompt too. So, but that just shows you a little bit about what you can do with the prompt. Now let's set it back to a normal prompt there. So now if we do a directory, we just have a normal prompt. And we're going to get our little colors back here. There's other things you can do with the prompt command too. You can use the prompt command to set hotkeys. And if you notice on the screen here, we have some function keys, the Alt, Control, and Shift function keys, which are set to launch programs. And the prompt command is also used for that, and we'll get into that at a later show. So in the auto exec file, We'll take one more look here. We set the prompt command, and here it is up here. It's part of the sequence in the auto exec, so every time the system boots, it sets the prompt command. So that's it for this week. We'll see you again on Bits and PCs. I'm Keith Davis. Where did I put that file?
People ought not to forget. That was good. Huh? Ought not to forget about our PC rap contest. So if you have a he hates this idea. So if you have what you think is good PC rap, send it to us to the PC Voyage address that Chip is going to give you right now, and we'll be right back. I like it. I'm sorry.
If you have any questions, or if you have any comments about the show, please write to us. Our new address is PC Voyage, P.O. Box 10486, Holyoke, Massachusetts 01041. We appreciate hearing from you.
And here is our man of the hour, or half hour as the case may be.
He gets
With
5
the-
minutes tops.
With the PC Voyage News, Bob Clements. Hi, Bob.
Good day, and welcome to PC Voyage News. Digital Equipment is once again a PC manufacturer. The #2 computer company currently sells systems made by a variety of contractors, including Intel, Olivetti, and Tandy. But earlier this year, it began test marketing its own PCs in Asia, Australia, and South America. The company's new PCs will be sold in the U.S. at prices starting at $899. They feature parts made in Taiwan, and the machines are built at several locations worldwide. Digital marketed its own PCs in the early 1980s. The systems proved unprofitable and were removed from sale. Going in the opposite direction, Librex Computer Systems says it has decided to withdraw from the crowded U.S. notebook computer market and will begin to wind down its U.S. operations. The San Jose, California-based company says it's leaving the market because of intense competition and slumping profit margins within the industry. Librex notes that it's pursuing discussions with potential buyers. The company, a subsidiary of Japan's Nippon Steel, also says it will make provisions to support all existing warranty and maintenance obligations. The world's first online business school has graduated its first class of MBAs. More than 50 degree candidates, 25 professors, and 175 friends and family members gathered at San Francisco last Sunday to attend the University of Phoenix inaugural graduation ceremony. Nat Goldhaber, CEO of Kaleida, the Apple-IBM multimedia joint venture, delivered the commencement address. The Phoenix-based school has students who telecommute to class from as far away as Russia, Australia, and Japan. Microsoft chairman Bill Gates has donated $6 million to Stanford University. Gates' contribution closed a funding gap for a new $23.1 million building that will house most of Stanford's computer science activities. The structure will be called the Gates Information Science Building. The software mogul says he made the donation because I want to invest in the future of the industry. Gates never attended Stanford. He left Harvard before graduation to found Microsoft in 1975. The U.S. now has 243 computers for every 1,000 people, reports the publisher of a computer industry almanac. Of the 243 systems, 230 are personal computers. According to the annual publication's calculations, there was less than one computer per 1,000 people when the PC first appeared on the scene in the mid-1970s. By 1985, the figure had shot up to 99 per 1,000. The publication estimates that by the turn of the century, there could be as many as 600 computers per 1,000 people. And if baseball is a game of statistics, then total baseball on CD-ROM must be the answer to every baseball nut's dreams. The disc is the electronic version of the 2,629-page Total Baseball Encyclopedia. It features complete statistics on all of the 13,490 Major League players who have set foot on the diamond since 1871. In addition to statistics in virtually every imaginable category, the CD-ROM offers radio sound clips of baseball's greatest moments and photos of over 500 players. The $69.95 disc, bundled with Tony La Russa's Ultimate Baseball Game, is available from DAC Industries of Canoga Park, California. Portions of the PC Voyage News, courtesy of the Prodigy Service.
Two comments I wanted to make about sitting down with Russ Walter and his apartment. He lives in a 2-story apartment, and there is no more room than what is here between you and me to walk anywhere. He has paths everywhere, and it's really amazing because you walk through this place and there's towers of books that go like this. How they stand, it's amazing. But he has old issues. His entire shipping room was in one little pantry, and the room that we were in taping was so full of computer stuff. He claims he has like 20 some odd computers in his apartment, and in fact I think all but about 3 of them were piled in a corner. But the room that we were in was so tight that here was a lamp, and here was me trying to talk to him. That was about the only, so that Keith could get a clear shot in with the camera. I mean, it was amazing just how tight and how little room we actually had.
Kind of sounds like your office.
Or your living room.
That is my office.
And Andy still has mail in his living room from 1987. So. Notes from the sky. Hey, question for you. Is your computer entry level yet? And on that note, I'm Raimi Laviolette.
Oh, God. I'm Andrew Doty.
Hey, stop using that term about me in public. See you next week on PC Voyage. On another episode of PC Voyage.
I know it's supposed to be for you.
I took